Gold FM is #1 here in Sigatoka.
Gold FM is our favorite radio station here in Lautoka.
Gold FM is #1 in Nel.
I love listening to Gold FM in Ba.
We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits here in Suva.
Hear about bottle cola, you immediately think of gold. I'm Josephine Sabi and I love hearing Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Tonight, Fijian troops in Iraq safe from rebel attacks. Prime Minister speaks of climate change concern. An Indonesian president wants closer ties. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. Indonesia has pledged $20 million over the next 5 years for the Pacific Island countries fighting climate change. Indonesian President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono has committed his support for the region with a number of initiatives to further enhance relations with the Pacific. As an emerging power, Indonesia is expanding its regional presence and strengthening ties with island nations. Christopher Chand reports.
An influential global leader, Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono, is forging strong bonds with the Pacific, announcing a number of initiatives at the Pacific Islands Development Forum this morning.
We intend to allocate a modest funding of $20 million for the Pacific Island countries.
The Indonesian president has promised not only to develop relations and cooperation, but also to be an advocate of the Pacific's concerns.
Our two-way trade in 2013 was $318 million. We can do much better than that, as there remain many untapped potential. We should aim to triple that amount to $1 billion in the coming years.
While critics have questioned the motive of his inaugural visit to the Pacific, it's certain that Indonesia is recognizing the important role of developing island countries.
Every country, large and small, must live up to their shared responsibility. That is the responsibility to act. The world, including its peace and security, is too important to be left to the major powers only.
Yudhoyono's 10-year reign as president of Indonesia comes to an end in 4 months. But over the last decade, their foreign policy has strengthened.
Indonesia has established diplomatic relations with almost all Pacific Islands countries. We build these relations on the basis of equality, mutual respect for each other's sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity.
The Indonesian president returns home tomorrow. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has appealed to larger states to consider the plight of Pacific Island nations facing the effects of climate change. Bainimarama was speaking at the opening of the second Pacific Islands Development Forum in Nandi today. Akusita Tale was at Denarau and filed this report.
The Fijian government is disappointed at the failure of the international community to address the challenges that confront the Pacific due to climate change.
The rising sea levels caused by global warming threaten the very existence of some of our neighbors, Kiribati, Tuvalu, and the Marshall Islands, and are already swamping the coastal areas of many Pacific nations, including Fiji.
Voreqe Bainimarama says the determination of the global community is losing ground and slowly diminishing. He also responded to some of the policies on reducing carbon emissions adopted by the newly elected Australian government.
I, on your behalf, appeal to Australia and other countries not to behave selfishly over the catastrophic prospect facing small island developing states. History will judge you harshly if you abandon us to our apparent fate of sinking below the waves because you don't want to make the necessary adjustments to your domestic policies.
Indonesia's involvement in the summit shows the PIDF is a formidable and credible regional group. Never before have 16 countries sat together and discussed a development path forward for all Pacific Islanders.
We need to be smarter and more innovative, but we also need our development partner to assist us in the process. We need their help to help ourselves. They all recognize that successfully shifting to a growth model that sustains natural resources over time requires the engagement of countries beyond our region.
The PIDF will be taking part in the 3rd International Conference of Small Island Developing States in Apia, Samoa in September. It will also attend the 2nd United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development in New York at the end of this month. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
And Akosita joins us live from Nandi right now. Ako, this isn't the first time that Fiji has made such a call to developed states. What sort of action does the Prime Minister want to see?
Thanks, Jackie. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama stressed that the Pacific doesn't need big budgets and a bloated bureaucracy. It needs big ideas to move the region forward and big arms and big hearts to deliver promises. He says the Pacific also needs to be smarter and more imaginative, open to new ideas and solutions that are holistic and inclusive and use problem-solving skills of the people.
Thanks so much for that, Ako. The UN mission in Iraq has identified areas where Fijian soldiers will be relocated should the situation in Iraq worsen. RFMF Land Force Commander Colonel Ratuchone Kaloniwai says the violence involving the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant is confined to the north of Iraq, while our troops are stationed inside the Green Zone in Baghdad. Vosita Kotewasawasa reports.
Only 300 UN essential staff, including our troops, are now stationed with the UN mission in Baghdad. The RFMF says although the heavy fighting in the north of Iraq poses no threat to Baghdad at the moment, the evacuation of UN staff is already underway.
Fijian soldiers are currently located within Baghdad. They are basically concentrated around the Green Zone, where the responsibility is basically to look after the UN compound and the UN staff within Baghdad, and also within the premises of the Baghdad International Airport.
Colonel Ratuchone Kaloniwai says should the situation worsen, the Fijian troops will carry out their mandated task to protect UN staff working in Iraq.
Rules of engagement for the UN are basically very straightforward. It's basically for the defense of the location, defense of personnel and the UN staff itself. At no occasion would there be any ROV or rules of engagement that would indicate an offensive nature, but it would basically be for the defense of the property and the lives of those that they are responsible to take care of, which are basically the UN staff.
Colonel Kaloniwai says should the evacuation process take place, our soldiers could be moved to Amman in Jordan or in the Kurdish province of Erbil.
There was the last indication that around 74 would be relocated, whilst the remaining 115 would stay within Baghdad to basically look after the UN facilities and all UN essential staff that would have to stay back for humanitarian assistance reasons.
Colonel Kaloniwai reassures families of soldiers currently serving in Iraq that they are safe and well for now. Vasita Kotewasawasa, FBC News.
After the break, youth conference to discuss pertinent issues.
Ito singa to kung tali ta na parong na Radio Fijian na station yal mo to.
Ako na poro na tali ta. Mandau tali ta gini na parong Radio Fijian.
Kitongo isu untuk tali ta na parong na Radio Fijian station yal mo to.
Kito tali ta na Radio Fijian. Na Radio Fijian ento tali ta kita nga Singtoka.
Station imagino pinatia na Radio Fijian kompan beyanyan.
Na Radio Fijian nandu mo ibiti na bonga ni BNN.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. About 700 young people from around the country will converge on the Vodafone Arena next Tuesday for a 3-day conference. The huge gathering replaces National Youth Day, which is normally celebrated in August.
The National Youth Conference, instead of the usual annual celebrations, is meant to empower youth to make the right decisions.
because this year there are also elections that are coming up. It's also important for them that they make good decisions. We are trying to provide lectures and lecturers for them to make to strengthen their decisions, to strengthen them in decision-making process.
Instead of small events all over Fiji, young men and women who are passionate about issues concerning them will come up with ideas for youth development.
Of the 2 days, we hope that we will come up with outcome documents. We may call it a youth declaration, or kind of resolution whereby we will use it as a guide. We will use it to use it as a platform for us to formulate policies to address youth issues in the future.
Those who have been actively participating in youth groups or as youth leaders have been selected for the conference.
Youths from as far as Rotuma are coming, from the Lau group and also from the Northern and the Western Division. And the selection of those youths are made by the youth coordinators in consultations with youth officers and divisional youth officers in a division.
The theme for the 3-day conference is strengthening youths in decision-making process. Issues such as health, governance, leadership and sports will top the agenda of discussions. The last such conference was held in 2012. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Drinking rainwater from a nearby creek will now be a thing of the past for a rural community at Lambasa in Lambasa. A new borehole has been installed for the 23 households, providing clean drinking water. Eleanor Turangaview reports.
For years, this small settlement has been without a good source of clean drinking water.
We are using the creek water, the well, but it's very dirty.
They were using wells. So like as far over there, we went up there, you can see how the houses were so far. So they have to come down and get the water from there.
There was no provision for water here before. We used wells, creeks, and those who had transport take bottles and gallons and fill it from those with tap water.
In August last year, work on installing this borehole started with a $20,000 assistance from the government.
Every household have contributed $100 each, and also they contributed towards the implementation, that is pipings, and all the work that is done by the community.
After 30 years, we are receiving the clean, adequate water.
I want to thank the government of the day for helping us.
We'd like to thank the government for providing us the assistance so we can have one of a good water supply now.
The opening of the borehole project is part of government's priority to ensure every Fijian has access to clean and safe drinking water.
As we all know, water is a basic necessity of life, and it is the target of the current government to provide clean drinking water to all people of Fiji, and likewise raise the living standards within our rural communities so that we can increase our farm productions and likewise assist to prevent and minimize outbreak of waterborne diseases.
There are plans to set up another water tank with this borehole to cater for other houses that are close to the settlement. Eleanor Turangaview, FBC News.
Preparations for the 2014 Vodafone Hibiscus Festival are falling into place, and already contestants for the Queen category are being put through the paces. Ellen Stiles catches up with coordinators on what we can expect in August.
The theme for the 2014 Hibiscus Festival is climate change affecting human lives. Contestants, especially in the Queen's category, will need to be well versed on issues affecting the world today. Queen's coordinator Live Movonorova says the young women are being taken through their paces, setting the tempo for the mother of all festivals.
The different areas of training that we've identified is, aside from public speaking, hair and beauty, deportment style, this week is media and public image week for them, so they're learning from journalists and PR people about how to behave in public.
Movonorova says the festival has grown into an event that's followed around the region, and contestants must live up to standards. It's not all about good looks.
I think it's important for whoever runs an event this big to understand that there are young people out there looking to these contestants for examples, for lessons, or for even ways to behave. And so a lot of the training is focused on helping these contestants understand the responsibility that comes with attention they get.
There's a lot of behind-the-scene work going on, not only to prepare the contestants, but also to complete the groundwork for the festival.
Dubbed as the mother of all festivals, Hibiscus is also where we get to choose our representative for the Miss South Pacific pageant. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
Jamie joins you now with sport.
Good evening, that's right. We'll have the latest from Brazil after the break, including Spain's shocking early exit, which today a colleague of mine titled Spain Down the Drain. This and more coming up.
Gold FM is #1 here in Singatoka.
Gold FM is our favorite radio station here in Lautoka.
Gold FM is #1 in Nelly.
We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits here in Suva.
Hear about Batu Cola, you immediately hear about Gold Cola. I'm Josephine Sabi and I love hearing Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. First up tonight, the Samoan rugby side has named a formidable squad to take on the Vodafone Flying Fijians this Saturday. The visitors line up both experience and size as they expect nothing less than a grueling encounter against Fiji. Talenda Dakadaka reports.
The 15-0 win over Italy last week has boosted the Samoans' confidence as well as presented opportunities to minimize their mistakes before the clash against Fiji.
We learned lessons learned from the last game with the Italians, and we pick it up from here, and hopefully we can correct those mistakes going on to the Fiji match this Saturday.
Samoa has made 4 changes to the side that triumphed over Italy, with 3 of those in the forwards.
We know that Fiji has also got a good forwards, and we pick a forwards that will hopefully counter them on Saturday, and we prepare to get a win on this. But
after reviewing Fiji's past 2 games, the Samoans have a fair idea of what they are up against.
Our Fiji is very strong, good forwards, took back line, and balance all out. And all we know is that we got a hard task ahead of us on Saturday.
Fans can be sure to get their money's worth this Saturday in this must-see fixture between the 2 Pacific juggernauts. Talenda Dakadaka, FBC Sports.
The first football tournament of the year gets underway in Nausori tomorrow with 8 Super Premier teams in action. A lot of hype is being generated for the tournament, with the current World Cup also helping the push in local football circles. Interesting with the details.
It's time for the action to begin, and based on predictions, the first tournament of the year is already gripping the local football fraternity.
Yeah, certainly, I think everybody in Fiji is looking forward to the first tournament of the year, and coupled with it, with the World Cup being played now in the current time, I think a lot of teams will try and adapt to the style of the teams that have been successful so far in the World Cup.
Stoddart says all sides have prepared well, but some teams are bound to stand out.
Well, looking at it from the teams that have been given the final 22, the South Seas Logistics Super side looked good, looked good. And I was impressed with Lambasa in the last league outing. Not saying that the other teams have no chance, but I think Nandi, the Shop and Save Nandi side, will find it difficult defending their title, just like Spain, bowing out.
The Fiji Football Association is also excited as the countdown continues.
The Vodafone Fiji effect is now ready to roll, as rightly saying. It is the final day, one day to go. And definitely everything is under control. The district associations have prepared themselves. The administrative work has been completed, the registration and everything has been done up. So we are all ready to roll now.
Kumar and his team have been working hard to ensure the fact once again gives the fans the best football action.
All the team, Vodafone Fiji Effect is the first major tournament that we are hosting, although it was deferred because of the OFC under-20, but it has now come, and all the teams are expecting to have a showcase, and definitely it'll be a good tournament.
It's a fact that the World Cup is gripping the planet, but that is just an ingredient for the local event to hit fever pitch. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
Another star athlete is out to make a mark in weightlifting for Fiji at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland next month. Apollinia Vaivai, originally from Levuka, has been training hard for the meet with an aim to make Fiji proud. Vaivai will compete in the 75-kilogram category and has been training hard at the Oceania Weightlifting Institute in New Caledonia.
Any difficulties, just working towards what I could achieve in Glasgow and break my PB, the one I did in Oceania in New Caledonia.
Vaivai's biggest inspiration comes from legendary weightlifting coach Paul Kofa.
Paul Kofa motivates me to stay in that 75 category and keep on pushing me, tell me to move up.
Vaivai will participate in an event in Rome next month before she teams up with the rest of the squad for the Commonwealth Games. And that's it from Sports Tonight. It's back to Jackie now with business.
The Khorasan Resort and Rainforest Spa in Savu is up for sale. Director of Marketing Mill and Young Elise says a number of expressions of interest have been received and are being considered by the owners. Jack and Patsy Young of the United States have owned and operated Khorasan for over 14 years. Elise says the resort is worth over $20 million. With the recent completion of the new Edgewater Lagoon, a favorable environment for investors in Fiji, Elise says the owners feel it's a good time to consider selling the hotel. The Khorasan Resort was featured on the finale of ABC's primetime reality series The Bachelorette in 2011. Weather time now with our weather lady Trish.
Thanks, Jackie. Looking at today's map, Suva, Nadi, Lotoka and Ba all had fine weather all day. Savu Savu and Lambasa had widely scattered showers during the day. With the temperatures today, Suva, Nadi, Lotoka were all on 29, Ba on 30, where Savu Savu reached 27 and Lambasa 32. Looking at tomorrow's forecast, Suva might have cloudy skies in the morning, occasional showers in the afternoon. Savu Savu might have scattered showers all day long. As for Nadi, Lotoka, and Lambasa, it appears they will all have fine weather all day long. For Mariners, northeast winds 10 to 15 knots, becoming southerly overnight, moderate seas. Image of the day, and we're calling it Sky is on Fire. Really hot shot by Shneel Narayan of Nandi.
Thanks so much for that, Trish. Recapping the headlines, Fijian troops in Iraq safe from rebel attacks. Prime Minister Vorengen Bainimarama speaks of climate change concern, and Indonesian president wants closer ties. This week's poll question we're asking, do we need more political parties to contest the election? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's news for tonight. The team and I will be back tomorrow evening. Until then, stay safe. Nimotamanda.
Ito singa to kando tali ta na warong na Radio Fijian na station yalmotua.
Ako na poro ko na tali ta. Mandau tali ta kini na warong Radio Fijian.
Kitongo isu untuk tali ta na warong na Radio Fijian station yalmotua.
Keto tali ta na Radio Fijian. Na Radio Fijian endo tali ta kitalanga sintoka.
Station in Matino Pinatia na Radio Fijian ko pa pe yan.
Na Radio Fijian nandu mai biti na bonga ni BNN.